Hey guys, it's Cody from Treeline here again, and today I'm going to go through some of the latest stuff we've been working on in Treeline. So first up is something that I'm pretty excited about, and that is optional model attributes. So if you've used our model interface before in any of your routes, this will look familiar for you. Here is a user model, and if we look at that, I have the default attributes here, ID and the timestamps, and I also have a username and age. And so when I go ahead and use this machine in a route, here I have a post user route with our create user machine. And if I open this up and look at it, I'm filling these two values with route param. So in this case, probably a form or something. And you see both of these are required, which means that if I don't pass in username or age, then it's not going to create my user. And this isn't always what you want. You want to be able to maybe optionally have an attribute. And the reason we have this is because here, if I want to use a value from this create user, so let's say age, I have to ensure that a value is set here. And the only way currently to do that is to require it. So let's look at what's different now. So here we'll go ahead and add a new attribute and we'll name it email. So you can see this looks a little bit different. I'm going to give it a name, description, email to use, and example. And so you still have name, description, and example. And as before, we're still using the example to determine the type. So here we'll go ahead and type particlebanana@gmail.com. And you'll see I have this new type picker that popped up here. And what this is going to do is allow you a little bit more flexibility in your actual underlying database column types. So in this case, it recognized that this example is a string. So it's going to give me the option to just store it as a string. Or if I wanted to store it a little bit, if I want to be able to store a little bit more text, I can select a text type. And that'd be good if you're doing a blog post and you wanted to store the body or a description or something like that. In this case, we'll go ahead and stick with string. You also see here I have a new flag called unique. And what this is going to do is allow me to toggle the underlying waterline attribute property unique, which in turn will create a unique constraint in our database. So in this case, let's go ahead and do that so that all of the emails in the system are unique. And then we have a required flag here, which is also new. And so if I untoggle that, you can see that it adds this new default value. And what this is doing is allowing me to create this, make these inputs here, make one of them unique. So in this case, email is going to be unique. Now the problem, I still have to create a default value so that when I select it here, I have something to select and return. So in here, in this case, for an email, let's just do no reply at foobar.com. Now, an issue here would be is we have a unique flag here. So if we want these to be unique, we got to make sure that in this case we have an email address. So this is probably not a good one to make unique. So let's go ahead and uncheck that. Let's go ahead and create this. Okay, so now if we look at our, let's go ahead and use this in a new one. So here I have another user route, so this is post user 2. Let's go ahead and refresh so we get the latest stuff. And then let's go ahead and drop our create user machine. And let's go ahead and configure these. So username, we're going to go ahead and grab a username param. Age, we're going to do the same for age. And these are both required. And you'll see we have email in here now, which is an optional parameter. So if we don't fill it in, it would be fine. We'd get our default. Let's go ahead and attempt to grab the form param that we're going to send. And you'll see it looks a little bit different from the other ones. It's got the question marks on it, just showing it's just a visual way of representing that it's not a guaranteed bubble, so we're not guaranteed that we're going to have this value. So let's go ahead and save it. Okay, so now let's look at what this looks like when we're actually using it. So we're going to go ahead and use Postman here to send a few different values and see what we get back. So let's go ahead and send this route and we'll send it some data. So we'll send it username, foo, and we'll send it age 25, which is our required values. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So you see I get back a a reply that has our username foo, our age 25, and it went ahead and set the default email address to noreply@foobar.com, which is great. So now make sure that we can actually send an email address. So we'll do foobar@test.com. Let's go ahead and give this a different username. We'll send that. And you see now it sets the foobar@test.com. So just one more thing, let's go ahead and check our, say we want to make our username a unique value. So we'll go ahead and edit this, and we'll flag this as unique. So this is saying that every username in the system now must be different. So we'll go ahead and save that. So now let's try our same request again with foo2, and we should get an error showing that it's not unique. So go ahead and send that. You see, there we go. I get a validation error. One attribute is invalid, and value foo2, it didn't pass our unique validation. So that's optional attributes. The next thing I want to show to you guys is the ability to have scoped machines inside of a machine pack. So here I have a machine pack, which you'll get to in the UI from packages. In this case, it's named My Awesome Machine. It has 0 machines in it. So let's go ahead and add a few machines in there just to see what this looks like. So if I click on this machine tabs here, currently have no machine. So let's create a new machine. And in this case, we'll call it machine 1. And we're going to make it a circuit. And you'll see there's a new option here called scope. And what this means is I can have multiple machines inside of a machine pack, but when I'm using this machine pack in other places, some of them could be private and some of them could be public. So in this case, we'll make this one public. We'll go ahead and create this. And you'll see this shows up under public machines. And then we'll create another machine. We'll call this machine 2. And let's go ahead and make this one a private scope. Okay, so if I look at machine 1, under My Awesome Machine Pack, let's go ahead and use machine 2 inside of here. Okay, and now let's look at our routes. So we want to use this machine pack that we created that consists currently of 2 machines. And we want to use it in our project. In this case, it's our optional model attributes project. So I click on the dependencies sidebar tab here, and let's go ahead and add our machine pack. So in this case, it's My Awesome Machine Pack. And we'll go ahead and install that. And go to routes. And here I have a route called machines. Let's go ahead and look at this. And okay, so this is My Awesome Machine Pack is now a dependency of this project. So, and it has 2 machines. It has machine 1 and machine 2 inside of it. Machine 1 being public and machine 2 being private. So when I'm using it here, I only have access to machine 1. So I can drag that over, which is in turn using machine 2. And what this allows us to do here is to create kind of private packages and private functions inside of our pack. So you may have a helper function, or you may have a loop function that you don't want to necessarily expose as a public interface. And that allows you to do it. So that's scoped machines.